Hey, Julesblessedvegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So it is just 12:40 in the morning, not too bad. I have more work to do, but I'm going to call it. I just wanted to check in with you guys when I suddenly realized, oh no, it's after midnight and I missed yesterday. But I figure if I get it in before the cock crows, it can still be considered yesterday somewhere in the world. So anyway, I was really struggling today, and I was blessed because despite the COVID, I was able to call my little sister, like text my little sister and communicate with her, and we were able to kind of hash out where my mindset has been regarding this channel. And basically what it is I've been really struggling. Should I keep Jules Blessed Vegan going? Shouldn't I? Barely have any followers. Only a couple of people show up. I mean, does it really matter? And she's one of those people who just kind of says it like it is. And she refers to herself as a truth sayer. I refer to myself as a God person. She's a truth sayer. So she's like, I'm not going to hold back, girl. I am going to tell the truth. And in her truth, she kept saying that I was giving an excuse. And I was like, giving an excuse? Like, what are you babbling about? And it's kind of refreshing when you have just anyone who can be that honest with you. But I really was puzzled by it because by the time we got on the phone, I hadn't really processed what was true for me. I just knew that I was really struggling. And so she was like, you can use any excuse you want. And in fact, you don't even need to use your channel. And it is not going to grow anyway if you're not authentic. So as we were talking about it, she was remembering kind of what the refreshing part about the channel was in the early days was that I would share where I was at and share my truth. And in recent months, it's really just been a bunch of fact stuff about fruit and vegetables and whatever. And we both agreed that that's not terrible, especially since I was just building up my video library, if you will, and just kind of getting up to 600. And because I do claim vegan as part of my Jules Blessed Vegan, I certainly have religious topics in there. I wanted to make sure that I had enough that was really food-based as well. And if I get to some point where I can put these in folders, I'll have a significant amount for things like, food, fruit, vegetables, etc. So it wasn't a total waste. But she was like, what I liked so much in the early days was how incredibly authentic and honest you were. And I really totally see her point on that. It made me happiest to be able to share my truth. What I went on to say, and I have since fixed it in the sense that I have to mark every video as for adults only, which means technically someone should be 18 and over. And the reason I did that was because sadly, a while back, I was sharing about my day. And of course, I'm a teacher and I referenced a student. Well, it didn't take much for a couple of students to look up Juliana McCann's, which immediately showed that I had a connection to Instagram, and another one named Jules Blessed Vegan, which got them to Jules Blessed Vegan. And in that small community, they felt they recognized the kid that I was referencing. I got totally busted by the principal. They wrote me up. I had to remove the video. Let's just say it was highly recommended I remove the video. And as my first year at that school, I was just like, wow, will they even keep me? I mean, it was terrible. Sorry I'm getting this shadow right now, but the way that I'm sitting right now to do my other videos, I have to keep this and just get through it. So anyway, it was very difficult. At the same time, I had done some videos where I kind of loosely referenced family, which inevitably a couple of family members saw, and they were furious. So between upsetting my school setting, I stopped talking about my passion, which is being a teacher and guiding children and learning, and me learning from that experience as well. Because I offended a family member or two, I stopped talking about family largely and what was sort of going on there, and certainly not risking offending my husband. Insanity party of one. I mean, I only get one husband. I'm not going to jeopardize that. So that didn't feel safe either. And then all of a sudden in the vegan community, because I had started off with the premise that I am a compulsive overeater and that I'm a food addict, right? A lot of people started jumping me saying, well, you are what you affirm yourself to be. So if you say you are one, well, then you are one. And I was just like, you know what? I have affirmed that I'm a major actress in Hollywood to no avail. I've affirmed that I'm a millionaire yeah, that's a no. I've affirmed that I am brilliant and that Einstein and I, spent past lives together, none of which came true. But for some reason, me saying that I'm a compulsive overeater or a food addict is suddenly absolutely true. What? Like, where's the logic in that? So I really struggled with that. And so then all of a sudden, I didn't want to mention the 12-step program. I didn't want to mention that I was a compulsive overeater anymore. And then, of course, with my faith, I always talk about how I'm a God person. And I absolutely, put blessed in Julesblessedvegan so I could talk about prayer and everything else. And then I was kind of realizing, and I'm completely generalizing, let's start with that, please, that in the vegan community and on Instagram in particular, that standard traditional faith, like something like Catholicism, wasn't really the thing of the day. I mean, it was mostly knowing what's referred to as spirit singular, just the word spirit and not the Holy Spirit as in the third person in the Trinity. Mother Earth, as opposed to the Virgin Mary as Mother of Jesus. There were like a lot of almost parallels, but it seemed like energy and light and spirit and, Mother Earth and things like that were far more acceptable than a traditional faith. So all of a sudden I was running into that and not feeling comfortable. So there was just a whole bunch of things that came at me to where suddenly my channel just almost became facts about just food and stuff, and that's not who I am. So I think that's where my own excitement and zeal and desire to do this started to rapidly fade. And that's why I was so grateful to talk to my little sister, because she reminded me of that. And even though I didn't necessarily have an answer to it in the moment in that conversation, it kind of weighed on me all day and gave me a chance to see why my light was fading and why I was hesitating. So I'm happy to say that I am ready to move forward as the Juliana I prefer to be and the Julesblessedvegan I prefer to be, which is just sharing my most immediate truth. My most immediate truth right now is that it's going on 1 a.m. and that I absolutely need to continue with my schoolwork for my children because I want to make sure that they can be successful, and them being successful is based on me providing all the tools that they need. So I'm going to get to that. And I have a really good talk tomorrow on how I very sadly faltered about 5 days ago. And I know, I'm trying to think, I don't know, a little more than that, like 8 or 9 days ago, I had shared a very honest story about how I had ended up binging and making myself sick. And that was after like 17 days of eating clean. And I was so distraught, and that it was okay. It was one and done, and I was going to get on it. And it was one and done for the next day. But like the microbiome always does, it was screaming by day 2, and I faltered again. And then I was clean again on day 3, and by day 4, it was screaming again. And that is the story for tomorrow. That day 4 got very ugly and resulted in me spending like $110 on even beginning to get my body back. So other than saying that I'm happy that I'm clean again and going on day 6, it was horrific and a story worth telling. So I'll be telling you that tomorrow. But thank you again for letting me just be me, perfectly imperfect, and to just share my story in all areas, again with a little bit more of a boundary. Making sure that it's 18 and over, making sure that I'm not deliberately referencing not only a person, whether it's family or students or work or whatever, or like the support group that I'm in right now for raw vegan, but making sure that what I reference isn't so recognizable that I may, accidentally reveal somebody's anonymity, and they have a right to their privacy. So prayers all around on that. I will be practicing it, but mostly I just want to be happy and continue to share my truth on all topics in Jules about me, blessed, my faith life, and vegan. Okay, if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the topics below how I may support you. Shout out to my little sister for her support, and best of all, know that you're blessed.